The Late IHP Show with lovely 5D mystic here, but a pseudoscience educated lady. So we have some tarot with us. The Feast of Plenty. Choices and their consequences. Crystal balls, duality, expansion of consciousness, flourishing, lovely green, our lovely organic earth. How do we wield our lovely power? The use of it, the right use of it, the crown. And I know 4D, they keep on being lost in stories. We're not the 5D mystics. No. Functional adults, we get to protect the future. Dragons, horde. Now, the most amazing part about being a woo-woo lady is that these clairs are simply connected to a sphere of consciousness. And I'm not woo-woo lady per se. I don't consider myself woo-woo lady, but out of respect for the sciences and the people who do research in academia and stuff like that, I'm okay with woo-woo lady. What I know more than anything is that this comes, the right use of power, only when you have a whole 3-year-old heart. So what are those choices that you are making, and what are those consequences? And your emotions rule you until you are the one who's leading your 3-year-old. And so if you don't have an integrated brain or restorative embodied self, so if you don't learn how to emotionally mature, guess what? I watched a very interesting video, and they keep on being inclined to blame the media, and I'm inclined to differ, and a lot, because of everything I learned throughout my years as a political science major in my bachelor's and a master's in international relations and diplomacy. And I remember very well, also I'm an online marketer, but putting the marketing aside, because it's my years in academia that gave me everything that I needed to know about how the media works. In fact, the whole brainwashing, manipulation, I don't need no conspiracy. All I needed was my years in college to know about how to not do the wrong things and to emotionally leverage pain points. So now that we have social media, apparently there's a lot of the different types of educators that keep on making it seem like it's the online world that has made con artists or made authoritarian people more accessible. No. So I know that some of you might be like, this is way off topic. No. Your personal development is everything. So as long as you want to consider yourself a mystic, that would mean you have clairs. If you're 5D, that would mean you have oneness consciousness. So if you are in that plane, then you would know how to use your prefrontal cortex, which means you would know how to use your emotional plane, which also means you're not a heartbroken 3-year-old. So you don't have shame, defectiveness. You don't have the inability to know that you may have implicit bias, because we all can. And in fact, you don't actually hide it. You try to do your best to be the functional adult, the respectable, loving adult, which is why even when people are manipulating their words, we don't try to figure it out, because we're going to do the respectful thing. Because as long as you and I are exchanging 2 words, we're not doing anything of great importance. Now, when it comes to the media, 5D mystics are very smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. We have an integrated brain. It's flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, for teaching me. I'm still learning. And I even learned a lot more about the attachment categories right now. And yeah, there are a lot of people that really should look into it if they consider themselves smart, because as long as you don't know how you are wielding your emotions, and if you have your emotional body online or not, you're going to be vulnerable to stories, not the other way around. So we see 4D mystics. There's a group of them. They're doing their thing. They don't represent a big look to do. So the video that any one of you who's interested should go watch is Why the Wrong People End Up in Power. It's an interview of at least 3 people. Brian Klaas, he's political science, so he's a colleague, I think I can say, although he has a doctorate in philosophy. I do not have a PhD. I don't think I plan on going back to college for that one. Billy Eddy is another person, and then there was another amazing human being as well, Timothy Snyder, PhD professor of history, Yale University, and he used this sentence that I've heard more than enough people say about how there are those who say there are no truths and I use my feelings. And it's like, okay, we all use our feelings. So once again, every one of us was a 0, 1, 2, 3. We all have implicit memory. So we all have implicit bias, like we all could potentially have any type of bias. So as long as you disregard the fact that you might have bias, and then that you say, let me take a step back. Let me ensure to be loving and respectful to that human being in front of me, or even a group, because that is the right thing to do. That's when you have an emotional adult, which is one who is not about whether you are malevolently manipulating, because malevolent, let me think about that word. I think I'll only care about it if you have a weapon in your hand. Other than that, as a citizen of the world, I'm pretty sure I can handle conversing with somebody, even if behind the scenes, within their brain, they're excogitating some rumination BS story. So here's the deal about emotions. They're very straightforward. A lot of people don't have an in-depth relationship with them. So when con artists come around, it's not just the social media. No. These people have been falling for con artists their entire, let's look at our species. In fact, it was hilarious because my lovely colleague taught me something new. Apparently now the politicians, so political science, are saying how the leaders don't represent us, which is kind of true, because if we look at the leaders that are out there right now, we see that there's a couple of different themes. So authoritarians, they actually, how people in power play on our emotions. They play on people's emotions. No shit, Sherlock, Any smart person will let you know just how many people fall for, it's not just authoritarians, anyone who will sell them the magic wand about, like gazillion of them. Now, see, we all can fall for scams. I've fallen for one. I was desperate. And I'll never forget, it was like a 10-second thing before I was like, shit, Maria, you fell for it. And that was my one moment where I was like, you're so stupid, like literally intellectually speaking. And then I was like, no, you were desperate. Those are two different things. But desperation will make you actually fall for shit. Okay, so in my case, it was desperation for something that I was really looking forward to accelerating, which I also reminded myself there's no shortcuts, because that's not how the world works or life. I got taught it when I was a kid. Okay, so on that note, which traits have the largest effect in shaping political ambition? Apparently, faith in humanity, humanism, and what is this word, Kantianism, are very low on the spectrum, while Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy, this is frontiers in political science, are high on the scale. And they explain a bunch of reasons why, but here's where I would say, when we look at our history, there's the one dude that also on The Well does an interview about how people need ancient silverbacks. We con ourselves along with the con artists conning us. And here is where people who would learn about themselves, if they have a shame, defectiveness, protective, false self, they would be able to get out of getting conned, because they would be able to have self-worth and confidence. That means I'm flawed and you're flawed, and we both have subjective experiences, and we can say we're sorry. We can also use our brain to notice when our emotions are getting the best of us. Yes, any person can do it. The people who don't do it are the same ones who think they know everything, which, they don't. They're actually quite interesting, because they're the same ones who use the sentences about how, what is it again? Something about feelings that can't rule you, and facts, or there are truths somewhere. So yeah, when you go ask them what those truths are, watch what texts they present to you. They're going to be ancient texts. So the people who are in the business of protecting the future, we know AI, technology, and everything that is future is not, like right now, is not demonic. Science is explained about trauma. If we can get more people out of trauma, integrated brains, we get smart people. Tune on in for more.